Welcome to the Payments Unpacked podcast. I'm Mike Chambers and I'm pleased to be joined today by John Dentry from Pay.uk. Today, the 16th of September 2023, is a very special day for me and I believe all banking and payment geeks. The subject of this podcast shares its special day with the Mayflower setting sail for America in 1620, with the introduction of first-class stamps by the Royal Mail in 1968, and the UK government suspending Britain's membership of the European exchange rate mechanism in 1992. If you haven't already guessed it, then this podcast, we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the UK's current account switching service. Please forgive me if I shorten that to CAS as we have this conversation with John. The UK was the first country in the world to offer a guaranteed 7-day switch of your bank account to a new bank account at a new banking account provider. And when it started, it promised to be simple, reliable, and stress-free. Now, I'm not going to steal John's thunder, but at the outset, let's ask whether CAS has been a success by letting the facts speak for themselves. As at the end of June 2023, 9.5 million switches have been completed. Now, based on CAS's performance during the first half of 2023, I guess we must be tantalizingly close to the magic 10 million switches as we celebrate this 10th anniversary. Since go live, over 140 million payments have been redirected from the old account to the new account. CAS has a 91% user satisfaction rating, and perhaps remarkably for a banking or a payment service, 86% of users would recommend the service to a friend. Now, you quite rightly might ask why I'm so excited about CAS, even to the extent that this podcast has been published on a Sunday. Well, we all remember where we were for certain events, tragic events like 9/11, a certain football match, maybe the birth of a child. Well, on the 16th of September 2013, I found myself in a war room watching the world's first current account switching service go live. My recollection is it went so well that the war room was a very calm and quiet place to be. Some of you might know why I was there, but if you don't, at the time I was the CEO of BACS, and BACS was the CAS's first operator and was the custodian of the service for the first 5 years. That's why for me this podcast feels very personal. Now, with the CAS scene set and having indulged in part of my story, I'd like to introduce you to John Dentry. John is the current product owner and he works for Pay.uk, who are the latest custodian of the CAS service. John, I'm so pleased that you've joined me in celebrating the 10th anniversary of CAS. And before we get into some of the detail, it'd be fantastic if you could perhaps just introduce yourself, please.
No problem, Mike. Thank you very much for that introduction. And hello to one and all. So my name is John Dentry. I am currently the product owner at Pay.uk. I manage a series of services that the company looks after, and one of those services is the current account switch service. In a very similar vein to Mike, the anniversary of CAS is quite personal to me as well, because I have worked with this service in various different guises. When the service was an actual project, I actually was involved as a test analyst on the project, and then sometime later, once the service went live, I came back to work for Mike, and I've stayed in a similar roles ever since, and facilitated and worked around the current account switch service. So the journey for me, watching the service evolve, has been really enjoyable and encouraging. And yeah, I'm really delighted to be here today to call out the anniversary, and in conjunction with the fact that the anniversary kind of coincides with my own wedding anniversary, and it's the same year, 10 anniversary, 10 years. So thanks again, Mike.
Well, thanks for joining us, married to your spouse and to CAS for the last 10 years. It's great to have you on here. And in my introduction, I provided a little bit of a taster of the current account switching service. And I just wonder whether, as we celebrate this 10th anniversary, can I ask you just to unpack your take on what the CAS service is for us?
Absolutely, yeah. So the current account switch service is a service that allows a retail or small to medium business consumer to switch their current account, their retail or business current account, within 7 working days. As part of that switch, the activities that are involved within it include the automatic transfer of your payment arrangements that you have with your old account, that be direct debit, standing orders, those kind of payment arrangements that pay on a frequency. It allows the automatic transfer of your old account balance to the new account, the automatic closure of your old account, all of that within that 7 working day period. And there is also a central redirection facility that redirects any payments that are mistakenly made to or collected from your old account. They will be redirected to your new account. And all of this is backed by a guarantee should any post-switching issues occur. So that's really the fundamental features behind the service. And it's worked very well over these last 10 years.
Fantastic, John, and a world first for the United Kingdom. So it's great that we were at the forefront of delivering that. So in my intro, I tease listeners with a few key current account switching facts. And my facts are based on the latest publicly available information. That's provided by Pay.UK every quarter, both in terms of participant performance and in terms of service performance. And I share that with readers of my newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter yet, you'll find it at payments-unpack.com. But John, that's the public information back to June. I appreciate there's a limit to how much more information you can give us that's clearly not in the public domain yet. But bring us up to date with a few key CAS stats and milestones from your perspective.
Yeah, so obviously, you've mentioned that the kind of, from a volume perspective, the next big target is 10 million switches. Whilst obviously can't divulge where we are at the moment, we are approaching 10 million, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that when it comes to the next dashboard, we are within touching distance or hopefully surpassed it. But 10 million is the next figure, and we're moving in the right direction naturally towards that figure. And also, we're seeing huge amounts of switching volume currently through the service, thanks to a number of things such as cash incentives, and more importantly, just as important for me actually, considering where the service started 10 years ago with 18, 19 participating brands, we are now at 50 participating brands. And that's organizations that offer a variety of different products and are focused on a variety of different customer types, from private banking, retail to business. We hit the 50 mark just last month, which is a fantastic achievement and quite poignant given we're at 10 years as well now.
50 participants, 10 years, 10 million switches. They are the magic numbers for this podcast. But if I think about that period of time, that decade, 10 years, it's a long time in anyone's book, particularly a long time in banking and payments. Can you just give me a bit of an insight into how the service has continued to remain relevant? Because the macro environment is changing all the time. So how have you kept current account switching relevant to the current environment?
In terms of the current environment, I think we've been helped that the way that the service was built from a technical perspective, we had a really good base, and the key features that we offered, what I touched upon previously with the automatic transfer of your payment arrangements, your balance, the closure of the old account, linked in with that redirection facility. They were all there from day zero, and that they were built on, like I say, that very strong base, and that's lasted throughout these 10 years. And keys, it's a key selling point of not just what we talk about with our customers, but also how our own participating brands advertise the service and how they pull out those key points. And I think the relevance is also a nice segue into how the service has remained relevant throughout these 10 years. we really emphasize a key element of awareness of the service, brand awareness. We do a huge amount of awareness centrally, but we also, our own customers, they advertise quite heavily the service, and they call out these key features, whether that's in branch, via their online web pages, mobile applications. They go into the specific details as well as these key features of the service, and call out key elements, such as you can switch with an overdraft, calling out these certain pain points that, certain customer segmentations may think, oh, I don't think that's applicable to me. But we, our awareness of the brand through pay.uk, but also our customer base, really calling that out, I think has helped the service to remain relevant, and helped to allay any fears that certain proportions of the population may think, well, it sounds great, but I just don't think that works for me. The information that we provide is very clear to say, no, it is relevant to you. You just need to find that right account product that suits your needs. And I think, again, that segues nicely into not just what we do centrally, but different account products have evolved over the 10 years as well. It's not just a simple current account that you can create in a branch. You can find new varieties of account products, and you can get them, whether that's opening them face to face, or via a new digital arm online via a mobile application. The industry's evolved, not just with us centrally and the way that we advertise the brand, but our customers have come with us on that journey as well.
Thanks, John. It was good the way you transitioned that into brand awareness, a really, really important part of it, because introducing a new banking service to a point that everybody knows about it across a whole country is hard. And it's hard, especially for a not-for-profit like Bax was and pay.uk is. And I have to admit, I don't mind admitting, John, that I get a real buzz still a decade later when I see that CAS mark proudly displayed in the window of a bank branch, or in a bank's advert, or in a social media post. And if I'm with anyone, I point it out to them. I don't let us walk past that without pointing out that I was involved in that. So I share that. I share that excitement and importance of getting that brand out. And that brand recognition and the ratings you achieve are the result of a huge investment by the CAS participants and commitment to the service, but obviously a huge effort by pay.uk over the years, and Bax as its predecessor, in cinema adverts, in videos, in social posts, in videos on TikTok and other social platforms, to drive that recognition and awareness to the public at large. We've done a little bit of looking back and what's happened over the last 10 years, John, but 10 years, as we've said, is a long time. What does the future hold for current account switching service? How do you see the next few years for the service? We'll hit the 10 million volume in a few days, a few weeks, whenever we hit that. But what does the future hold?
Well, certainly we're not resting on our laurels. The service has run really, exceptionally well for 10 years. Most people don't have a car that runs perfectly well for 10 years. And so as a technology service, so to speak, for 10 years to run as well as it has done, it's a great achievement. But we're not satisfied with just leaving it at that. We are constantly looking at what innovations are happening in the industry. We've got some great people who work at pay.uk who look out at that kind of horizon scanning picture and what real evolutions are happening in the market, or what are out there presently now that maybe could aid and support the current account switch journey, whether that be from a central perspective, a participating brand perspective, or just supports that end user, that retail customer or business customer. There are things out there like digital ID and open banking that we still haven't really explored what possible opportunities are out there. But it's not to say that we haven't considered it and we're not going to over that course of time. There's a lot out there, and it's just trying to understand what's really suitable for our service, our customers, those end users who have yet to switch their current account, but certainly hopefully are considering it and will do so in the future. The possibilities essentially are endless. You just got to find them.
Fantastic, John. John, do you know what? Thank you for sharing this stuff with us today and talking about the CAS service. Congratulations on the 10th anniversary of account switching in the United Kingdom. You know that CAS holds a very special place in my heart, and it made a very significant mark in my career. And I'm so pleased to hear of the contribution that you're making to the future of CAS within the current custodian of Pay.UK. So thank you so much for what you've done. Thank you for what you're going to do in the coming months and years, and we are enjoying celebrating the 10th anniversary with you. As we sign off for today, how can people make contact with you?
My LinkedIn profile, you can find me on LinkedIn. Any inquiries around CAS in general, you can reach out to me through our Pay.UK inquiries channel, and then they can filter through information to me as and when required. So yeah, primarily LinkedIn, but yeah, if you come through Pay.UK inquiries, you can find me.
Fantastic. LinkedIn and through the Pay.UK site. So thank you for that, John. Thank you again for joining us today for this special podcast on the 10th anniversary of current account switching service. I'm Mike Chambers. This is the Payments Unpacked podcast. If podcasts are your thing, make sure you subscribe to Payments Unpacked on either Spotify or Apple platforms. If newsletters are your thing, subscribe for free at payments-unpacked.com. And thank you for listening. Goodbye.